We're good?
We don't even know have a name for the episode.
Yeah. 3 50-year-old heterosexual males trying to stumble through, and understand the queer world. I'm not exactly sure how to do what we're trying to do.
Tell us the name of this episode. What should we call the episode if we're...
Queer skateboarding. Queerness in skateboarding.
Welcome back to The Letters. I'm your host, Jeff Grosso, and we're here in beautiful San Francisco, California with Alyssa Steamer. We're going to talk about queer skateboarding.
For your favorite freak show, and it's flying internet show.
I am your host, Jeff Grosso, and we are here in the catacombs of the University of California, Berkeley's with Cher Strawberry.
Hello.
And we're here to talk about all things skateboarding and queerdom.
Right.
Give me that and you can talk, because this I can do.
I learn something new every fucking day. You know what I mean? And I feel like we're just at the forefront, somehow, I don't know, you're picking me to interview. I'm still figuring out trans shit and hormone shit and all these things every day. So I'm straight up just overwhelmed all the time talking to so many people about it.
Yeah, and there's a whole range of people who are, feel outside of the norm.
I think just how things have changed to the past few years at least, or the amount of people who are queer who are actively skating and being visible is probably what's made me feel the most accepted in skating. Because for a long time, I know it was like that for you too. It's until people started linking up, it just really felt super solitary. I was I'm really just doing this on my own.
We're here, we're fucking cool, we're people, we have emotions, and yes, we're fucking sensitive. Maybe a little bit more sensitive than your average human being, but fuck you, get out of my way, let's fucking skate. If you have an issue with me, fuck you. If you don't, let's skate, That's how I feel everybody wants to be in skateboarding.
Whatever your gender is, it doesn't matter, you're still a human. It's I don't know, you're still a skater.
Yeah.
That sounds so silly.
If you don't understand it right away, at least try to be fucking respectful. That's the biggest thing you can do, is try to understand another human being.
It's just not a fucking big deal, really. It's kind of just not a big deal anymore.
I don't know, just a lot more skaters are starting to open their mind to this and realizing how fucking ridiculous it sounds to act like skateboarding's so great and inclusive when they're not including this huge chunk of people, which is what jocks do, right?
For a long time, I always felt I was put in this really small, tight box, which is being a guy, and it never really felt comfortable. I could kind of do it, I could pretend to do it, and so when I started to figure out gender and stuff, it just really opened up a whole new world and possibilities and this freedom, I guess.
If you understand where someone's life is really coming from, then ask some questions, and then you just understand someone that much better, and we can all go about our lives.
Hey, I am Jacob Tillman. Am I ready for my close-up? I'm trans, non-binary, and a skateboarder.
Whatever, there's a lot of old dudes that watch the show and stuff, and we're all by extension raising this next generation coming up. I have a 7-year-old, and it's so if we could do an episode where we talk openly and honestly about how people are feeling and how people are scared and how wrong that is, and that fuck, man, we were all fucking freaks.
We were a bunch of fucking nerds. We were weirdos. We were fucking social outcasts. We were the fucking people that nobody wanted to be, doing things that nobody wanted to do, and that nobody understood, listening to music, dressing, hairstyles, everything. Nobody got it. We were fucking weirdos. We were the freaks. That's what drew us to skateboarding.
And somehow we made we got through all that and made it all okay. So like, it just seems like it's our responsibility to make it okay for the next group.
What is queer skateboarding?
Queer skateboarding. I think queer skateboarding is revolutionary. Queer skateboarding is everything conventional skateboarding isn't. There aren't really unspoken rules or guidelines you have to follow to remain in the cool guy club. You can kind of just be yourself and do whatever the fuck you want because that's what we're all doing anyways, without the magnifying glass of cis hetero skater boys telling us what we need to do or how we need to do things. And
there's a lot more fucking queer people in skating than people think, and it's like, yeah, so it's just like, take your time, do what you need to do to like explore and like figure out what it is that you are so that you can feel like your best self, you know?
Yeah, it's like, it's okay to not know.
It's okay to not know. It's okay to not have a label. It's okay to like, take your time.
My name is Winston Hightower. I'm 27. I'm from Columbus, Ohio, and I identify as queer. Skateboarding is something that for a lot of people is a release, and it is always a pain to see a lot of my queer friends go under this intense hate from people at any sort of spot that you go to. You see it and it's really just like heartbreaking because these people all love the same exact thing.
For me, when I knew I was gay, but it was kind of one of those things that I always fought because it wasn't social norm to be gay or to feel an attraction towards another person that's the same sex.
I mean, I've been all sorts of things, you know what I mean? I haven't been only gay, I've been hetero, I've been this, that, and the other, you know what I mean? I didn't really experience loving women until later in my life because of fear, I think. A fear of like what people might think or what's gonna happen, which now like in 2019, it's kind of like a beautiful thing that you can just like really not care what people think about you. It's a beautiful thing.
Everyone wants to, I don't know, break it down in so many ways, but I just want to be like a girl who skates, you know? I don't want to be like, I'm the head of queer skateboard or like any fucking thing like that. Like, I'm sick of explaining myself. Like, don't you all get it? Like, I skateboard. Like, if you don't like it, get the fuck out of my way. Like, I'm sick of explaining myself to like all these people who are like, oh, what is like queer skateboarding? It's like, it's just skateboarding, honestly. someone called me a faggot now, like instead of like just like being ashamed of it, now I'll fucking fight you. You know what I mean? Because I'm just like, I'm fucking over it.
My name is Mark Nichols, and I started skating in 1989. Being queer in skateboarding is something, it's as punk rock as skateboarding itself. Because when I started skating, there was no queer representation in skateboarding. I didn't even know you could be gay and be a skateboarder at the same time. The only other gay people that I ever heard of were like Liberace. But over the years, I've had an opportunity to film with a lot of the queer skaters that are out there now. Back in the day, I had the chance to skate with like Steve Brandy and Forrest Kirby. I had the opportunity to go on tour with Brian a few times.
Yeah, Brian.
If you would have told me 30 years ago when I started skating, there would be the opportunity to be openly queer and be a skateboarder and have the world enjoy it, I would have not believed you.
There's three scenarios. Like, I'm either never gonna say anything about this and just like deal with the pain that like just kept getting harder and harder, or I'm gonna have to kill myself, or I'm gonna move somewhere where nobody knows me and like come out. And yeah, and that's what happened. But what got me into skating again was I found like Unity. I saw like BA came out and like all these like women were turning pro, and it just felt like something I was like a part of again, because I just came out as a trans woman like recently before that. Okay. So yeah, just like finding people I could relate to online is really what got me into it. It like self-perpetuates itself, so like that's why I feel like it's important to like be out and visible as you can, so it just like inspires other people, because without that I wouldn't have gotten back into skateboarding at all.
Wait, what? Brian Anderson's gay? Holy shit. Brian is gay. I mean, Brian's always been amazing, but at this time he was like, you know, crushing it. I just like went to bed and like cried and was like, holy fuck, I think I'm gonna be okay. Like that exact moment was just like, I think you're gonna be able to come out and it's going to like be okay, because Brian just did it.
I'm Clayton Schlegg. I'm 26 years old. I'm from Bellingham, Washington. I'm a homeless youth advocate. I'm queer and I make skate videos.
I just had that clicking moment that what's gonna make me happy is being genuinely myself. I'm not gonna be happy pretending to be something I'm not anymore. So once that did that little shift, I think it, like in the beginning it's really hard, but after a while, like I couldn't imagine any other way. Like I wouldn't want to be living my life differently.
What I do is like my choice, and if people don't like, you know, agree with it or even want to talk against it, like I'd rather be me than live up to some sort of expectation or hope of what somebody else might think or want.
My name's Terry Lawrence. I'm 57 years old. My pronouns are he, him, his, and I'm transgender. I was a professional skater in the 70s and early part of the 80s. When I was skating as a female.
What do you enjoy most about it?
Being with my friends and skating. I rode pools, I rode vertical. I had a lot of sponsors. Queer skating is awesome. I really like to see the diversity that's happening. I hope that the environment continues to be safer and safer for folks not only like me, but the whole spectrum of the community and for everyone. Because to me, skating has given me a great life and a great perspective on everything I've done.
Hey, this is Elise, they, them, from Forward Living Skate Collective in Wisconsin. We are a non-hierarchical, queer-friendly DIY skate spot. One of the things I love about DIY culture is when you do it yourself, you're empowering yourself, you're doing what you want to do, you're not waiting for anybody else to do it for you. That's what we're doing here by creating a spot that's safer for queer people. We're not going to wait for somebody else to do it. We're just going to make our own, and you can make it in your community too.
You can only compromise part of yourself for so long. And like, the moment I like took steps towards doing exactly what I want, living my truth, the happier I am. Like, I'm more motivated and more excited and like, just like more driven to like do the things I care about than like ever before, like in my whole life. And like I'm 28, you know, and I've been skating since I was like 2.
Hi, I'm Jan. I'm from South Africa. I'm a skateboarder and I'm gay. Fun, fun, fun. So I won the VANS Park Series 2 years ago, and my boyfriend was in the crowd. He had been looking after me the whole day. If I needed a beer, he got me a beer. And he was just there, like, as caring as ever. And I won the competition, and I went up into the stands to kiss him. I was happy. And I didn't realize that everyone would have took it as this this activist notion. You know, people were like, oh, did you kiss your boyfriend just to like shove it in everyone's faces that you were gay? And I was like, no, I kissed my boyfriend because I fucking love him.
It was hard for me to come out, for sure, and I think, you know, skateboarding, I finally found that escape, and I think that's what's important about, you know, when I felt suicidal, I was usually right next to my skateboard, and I was able to skate and just kind of escape that way. And with coming out, I was able to, there was a freedom in that. But the worst place that I wanted to come out to was the skate park, the last place, you know, and I finally did, and there was tension, but there was also a lot of like, dude, it's okay, man, like, we're here, like, I think that's rad, and a lot of people were like, yeah, we kind of knew.
My name is Rodrigo. I'm a Brazilian gay skateboarder. And I'm very, very proud of both things.
So yeah, I would just tell people to take your time. You don't need to identify as anything. It's like, if you don't have, I don't really even have like an identification at this point. It's like, I'm just a person. I don't really like feel like I'm a part of a binary or any labels really. I'm just a human being. And I feel that that's like, it's really hard for people to like be in that sort of like, I don't know.
It's like a gray area.
Yeah, like a gray area, but that's what living is. It's like, it is a gray area.
What's up? My name is Shanae Collins, but everyone knows me as Sheezy. I'm 27 years old. I live in Melbourne, Australia, and I'm fucking gay. I grew up in a family that was not accepting of queer people, and I grew up in a skateboarding community that was heavily dominated by straight men. I was always made to feel weird about being gay, like it was something to be ashamed of. It wasn't until my early 20s that I finally said, fuck it, fuck everyone's opinion. I'm gay and that is okay.
Being able to be out about who you truly are and feel how you feel really is freedom.
Hi, my name is Jason Herrera. I was born and raised in Los Angeles, and I'm a gay skateboarder.
To actually be like, you know what? This is who I am is like the ultimate freedom to like not have to, you know, live in secrecy. If we were all just born and allowed to live without other people's fucking bullshit upon us, then we would never know the better and everybody would be themselves and everybody would be free and nobody would have shame. You know what I mean?
Hi, I'm Hillary Thompson. I'm a trans skateboarder from Raleigh, North Carolina. A big shout out to all trans and LGBT skaters out there. I see what you guys are doing and I think it's awesome. So keep it up. Love you guys.
I mean, I've never even said it this way, but oftentimes the people that would say homophobic stuff in the van, usually they're kind of a wuss, you know, so I would just sort of laugh. This idiot who's saying faggot left and right and all this homophobic stuff, I dare him to go try half the stuff in my video part, you know?
I mean, whatever, I've been guilty of it. I grew up in a time where, I mean, I don't know how many times, you know, don't be a pussy. Oh, you know, you're just being a fag. You're just being a fag because you didn't make it. Yeah. You know, you belled that lean air again. I was taught that at you know, at a very, very young age, and I spoke that way for years. And I can't even imagine what that must feel like to somebody who, you know, who's overhearing.
Absolutely.
You know, and like viewing from the sidelines, you know.
But you can imagine it. If you let yourself.
Well, yeah.
You know, that's what we need to do, is instead of saying, I can't imagine that, say like, oh, let me take a minute to imagine that.
Don't be a dick.
I think that is one of the most important things about being an ally is showing future allies that it's not a complicated equation.
Right.
You know, skateboarding as a group, you know, we like to fucking walk around and pat ourselves on the back for being so open and so progressive.
Yeah.
And yet, and to an extent, on a bunch of different levels, we are. But then again, we're not at all.
Right.
You know.
It is like straight up 50-50, I feel like, but that's just like people's attitudes and like nice people and mean people. But yeah, some people are just dicks. Some skateboarders are dicks, some queer people are dicks. Fucking, like, you just gotta find nice people you love and like hold the fuck on to them.
I think in the history of skating, it's like a lot of bullying and a lot of like homophobia and like sexism, misogyny, all that shit. And like now it's like, okay, we're in 2020, like those things aren't cool, those things aren't funny.
Yeah, I think it's also gotten to the point where like everyone's really tired of like tiptoeing and explaining ourselves, and I think that's really what's caused like the most change in like how skating like looks at queer people now, is because like everyone's kind of just gotten to the point where like I'm actually not explaining myself anymore to you, so if you like don't get it or don't know how to ask what it is, then you can leave me alone.
It's super important to have allies that are skaters, especially if you're queer and you're a skateboarder. You're not gonna run into a queer skateboarder everywhere you fucking go, which it's becoming more popular now, but I guess my only advice for like allies would just be to like, fuck, it's different for person to person, but for me, I would rather have somebody ask me.
Be an ally, help the people out. It's terrifying at times, and I don't want people to feel like they're alone while they're in this incredible community that we all have.
They say something stupid and I'm like, hey, like that's not cool. As long as they're like, oh shit, sorry.
Or they're willing to learn.
Willing to like be like, okay, you know, like,
yeah.
And that's what fucking matters.
Yeah.
I mean, skateboarding's very special. It's like the best tool in the world. But I think to keep it special like that, we're gonna have to like start standing up for one another. And you know, when you hear somebody talking shit about somebody behind their back or something, instead of being like, you know, quiet or even joining in laughing or whatever, you know, it's time to say like, hey, that ain't cool, man. You don't know them. You don't know where they came from. You don't know what they struggle with. No. And why do you care anyways? So from now on, let's all make it our duty when somebody calls somebody a fag or says that shit's gay, to ask them what they mean by that. Right?
Hi there. My name is Thor. I'm 41 years old. I've been skateboarding since 1988, and I identify as a queer male. So this is all pretty new to me. I came out of the closet about a year ago. Really, the impetus for coming out was just watching the whole queer skate scene unfold and just sitting and wondering, like, why the fuck am I torturing myself? Here's this group of people that do not give a shit and are being exactly who they are. And I wanted that. I wanted that for myself too, and I wanted to be a part of a community that would understand.
In this parking garage, my friends Stevie and Jeff started skating here. Jeff was like, oh, I'm gonna start like a queer skateboarding company. Do you want to ride for it? Then we were all just skating and learning how to like do heel flips and kick flips again and shit.
Oh, that rules.
Literally, Jeff ordered 10 boards off eBay and then like hand painted them. And then was like, all right, we started a queer skateboarding company.
Jeff seems like he's kind of a renaissance man, like the art,
He's good at everything.
No rules.
Yeah, Unity's based out of Oakland, California. It's run by Jeff and Gabe. Is it an organization? It's just a group of people, right?
It's like
it's a collective.
Unity skateboarding collective, sure, yeah.
Yeah, it's a collective.
That's kind of a good way to put it.
Yeah. And yeah, I think it started about 2.5 years ago, just with Jeff painting boards, and I think he had this idea to just have like a safe space for gay skateboarders or queer skateboarders.
You know, originally you said you were alone. You know, how did you ultimately reach out and meet other queer skateboarders?
The internet. I actually came across Unity's skateboarding's page, and I saw that it was like queer skateboarding, and I was like, whoa, this is cool. Like, I want to be a part of this. And I instantly hit them up and was like, hey, like, I'm Chandler. Like, I want to be a part of whatever y'all are doing, and I think it's really fucking cool. You know, people with makeup on that were like a little bit more androgynous, skateboarding, had like kind of a cool style. It was like such a big deal. Like, I was like almost crying because there was finally something out there that was a little bit more close to home to me, not only in skateboarding, but in like the world.
Yeah, I think pre-Unity, I was just really nervous a lot, had a lot of anxiety, and just like thought way too much about what people thought. You know, meeting Jeff and Gabe and like other queers and trans and, you know, everyone else, it was really eye-opening, and it just helped me like feel more comfortable with myself.
Something to clarify, because a lot of people think like Unity's a team or something, or like it's like a crew, and it kind of is like a crew, but in like the real spirit of it, like what Jeff and Gabe had, is like Unity's for everybody. There's like basically no requirement. Place for people, of course for queer people, but just kind of anyone to come and skate and feel comfortable.
If Unity's kind of the movement and stuff, then and so now there's these little projects popping up within the movement, and there is one of these projects. And so what's there all about?
So their skateboards is the company. It's the actual set team. It's an all-queer, all-inclusive company, you know, and I'm a part of it.
Radical. Is it the first queer skateboard company?
I think it is.
Both like the women and the queer scene like has kind of been intermingled, I feel like. It's like a marginalized group of people that you're gonna connect easier with. And that's kind of like why like skaters like coming together, because like skaters at one point were like a pretty marginalized group of people, or like, I guess, outcast.
Yeah, I feel like that's one of the coolest things about our community, like the way we embrace people. Just because when I first started, I never really felt embraced by any community or any types of people. So it was just like a huge like switch in my life, like just to be like embraced fully and like supported at the same time. Like I never experienced anything like that, so that really changed my entire life.
And that's what's sick too about like Unity and stuff. It's like when we were doing it here, like they all just started popping up, and then it started to be like, oh my God, there's queer skate Madison, Wisconsin, there's queer skate New York, there's queer skate LA, there's queer skate Idaho. You know what I mean? There's just all these random things, and it's just sick because all those scenes are just like building themselves within their friend groups, and sometimes you get to link up with these people, and now you're skating with all these like queer kids and stuff, and wherever the fuck.
It's kind of how skateboarding period just began.
Yeah.
It's like the rebirth of skateboarding, I feel like.
I just want to say that none of this would be possible without Jeff and Gabe from Unity. They've done a tremendous amount of work to sustain this queer collective that continues to bring life to so many people who kind of abandoned skating or never felt right with it.
Okay, so yeah, thanks for sitting down with us and talking. It's a trip, yeah, you know. And I would just say, fuck man, hold on, you're gonna be all right. Dude, turn this stuff off, go skateboard. Be nice to one another. Go skate, beat it. I've been beat up on and stuff for who I am, and I didn't like it.
Right.
You know, and the last thing I want to do is beat up on somebody else and make them uncomfortable or make them not feel safe, especially when it comes to skateboarding.
Yeah.
You know, and it sucks. It sucks to admit that. It sucks to admit that, like, you know, I'm part of the fucking problem, you know, but I'm trying. So, turn this shit off. The world's out there. Go skateboard. Be nice to one another. Be kind.
Oh no, I'm gonna break.
Go have fun. Thanks for watching.